rainbow top, I'm going to be using violet, purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, red, and white. Along with, you're going to need scissors, a 5mm crochet hook, tapestry needle, and a couple of stitch markers. This is a previous top that I made. This is a small medium. I'm going to be making another small medium top today, but this pattern works up very easy. Basically, I'm going to be doing 2 rows of each color. Now, if you want to do a large, extra large, I suggest doing 3 rows of each color. Once I start the pattern, you'll be able to understand it pretty easily. First, take the violet, create a magic ring. And once you've created that ring, chain 2. Now what we're going to do for the first row is 6 double crochets in the magic ring. Now that you've got 6 double crochets, you can go ahead and pull that tighter. And this is going to make a half circle for the beginning of our rainbow. Now what we're going to do, because we're going to continue doing double crochets for the whole pattern, we're going to chain 2 for every new row and flip the project. Now what we're going to do is we're going to increase in every stitch. So there's going to be 2 double crochets in each stitch, and that'll give you 12 at the end. I'm now reaching near the end. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. And then since I'm doing a small / medium, this is where I'm gonna change color. I'm gonna do that second double crochet, and I'm gonna pull through the first 2 loops, and I'm gonna stop right there with 2 loops on my hook. For making a large to extra large, I suggest only changing color every 3 rows. Even though I don't continue on for that long, the pattern will be easy to follow to make to whatever size you like. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take my purple and attach it to the violet. It may be hard to see because they're dark colors. And then pull it through. I'm gonna lay it back down. Here's the tail of my purple right here from where I just attached it. And here's my violet. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. And then I'm just gonna knot these ends together twice. And then pull tight. And now the purple is attached. Now I'm going to continue for my 3rd row. I like to double crochet over these ends right here. You can weave them in at the end. It's all up to you. I'm going to go ahead and chain 2. And flip my project. And now what we're gonna do is 1 double crochet and then increase. So that'll be 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. So it's 1 stitch, increase, 1 stitch, increase. As the pattern goes on, it'll begin to get really clear. So 1 double crochet and then increase. So 1, 2. And continue that all the way to the end. I'm now reaching the end of the 3rd row, ending on a increase. Now to continue on to the 4th row, chain 2, flip the project, and we're going to double crochet 2 times. So double crochet in the 1st stitch, double crochet in the 2nd stitch, and then increase. So we're gonna stitch 1, 2, increase, 1, 2, then increase. I'm now reaching the end of my 4th row, and this is where I'm going to change color again, ending on an increase, and on that last double crochet only pull through the first 2. And now I'm going to attach my blue. And now moving on to the 5th row, chain 2, turn the project. Now we're going to double crochet 3 times and then increase. So 1 double crochet, 2, 3, 4, and then increase. And continue that to the end of the row. I'm now reaching the end of my 5th row. Chain 2, flip project. Now what we're gonna do is double crochet into the next 4 stitches, increase. So next 4 double crochet, then increase. And as you can see, the pattern works up pretty easy. It's gonna continue with 5 double crochet, increase, 6 double crochet, increase, 7 double crochet, increase, 8 double crochet, increase, and so on until whenever you'd like to stop with your size. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. and continue that to the end. Now reaching the end of my 6th row. And I'm going to be changing color, so on this last double crochet I'm only pulling through the first 2. Now I'm going to grab my green and attach that. Now we've got our green attached. Now we're going to be moving on to our 6th row. I'm going to chain 2, flip the project, double crochet into the next 5 stitches, and then increase. One, two, three, four, 5, 'Then increase. And continue that all the way to the end. I'm now coming to the end of my 7th row. We're now going to chain 2, start the 8th row. We're going to double crochet into the next 6 stitches and then increase. Now reaching the end of the 8th row. Ending on that increase, and on the last double crochet only pulling through the first 2, and now I'm going to change the color to yellow. Now we're going to be moving on to the 9th row. Chain 2, flip the project. Now we're going to be double crocheting 7 into the next stitches, crocheting into the next 7, and then increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, increase, and continue that all the way to the end. And now reaching the end of the 9th row. And now doing the last double crochet, chain 2, flip project. We're now on the 10th row. We're going to double crochet into the next 8 stitches and increase. Now coming to the end of my 10th row. And on the last double crochet, only going to pull through the first 2, and then I'm going to change the color to orange. Now we're going to start the 11th row, chain 2, flip the project. Now we're going to do 9 double crochets in the next 9 stitches. So double crochet in the next 9 stitches, then increase. Now reaching the end of my 11th row. Now going to chain 2. We're moving on to the 12th row. We're now going to double crochet into the next 10 stitches and then increase. I'm now reaching the end of my 12th row. On the last double crochet, I'm going to change color, so I'm only going to pull through the first 2. Now I'm going to be changing to red. Now we're going to be moving on to the 13th row. I'm going to chain 2, flip the work, now we're going to double crochet in the next 11 stitches and then increase. I'm now coming to the end of my 13th row. Now I'm going to chain 2, flip the project, we're now on our 14th row and we're gonna double crochet into the next 12 stitches and then increase. I'm now coming to the end of my 14th row. And this is what the rainbow looks like so far. To make the straps, first we're gonna have to put a stitch marker on where we would like our straps to be. I do mine on the 32nd stitch from each end. So go ahead and mark yours and hold it up against you if you did yours bigger than mine to figure out how you would like your straps to be. Alright, I have put my stitch markers into the 32nd stitch from both sides, and that's where my straps are gonna be. I'm now gonna come back here to my yarn, and we're gonna chain one, flip the project. We're now going to single crochet all the way to the stitch marker, and we'll stop at the stitch marker and start our straps. I'm now reaching my stitch marker. I'm going to take out that stitch marker and single crochet into that stitch, and then I'm going to start chaining. I'm going to chain 150 for each strap for a small to medium. If you're doing a large to extra large, I suggest doing possibly 200 to 250 chains for the strap. So I'm going to go ahead and start chaining. I've now reached the end of my chain 150, and now we're going to slip stitch back along the chain. You're going to skip that previous loop and work into the second one and slip stitch all the way back to create the strap. I've now finished my first strap. Now we're going to single crochet back into the same stitch from where we started the strap with that first single crochet. Now we're going to single crochet all the way across and repeat the same for our second strap. I'll meet you at the end once we get to our last single crochet over here. I've now reached the end of my row of single crochet after creating the straps. Now we're going to be creating the eyelet part to lace up the back of our top together. Now what we're going to do, chain one, flip the project, and I'm going to single crochet for the next 16 stitches. I've now finished one row of 16 single crochets. We're now going to chain one and create a second row of 16 single crochets. I've now reached the end of the second row of 16 single crochets, and now we're going to chain 2. This is how we're going to create our eyelets. We're now going to turn the project. There's 2 different ways to do this. Either you can double crochet in every stitch for 16 stitches, and you can weave your lace in between the holes of the double crochet, or you can do it the way that I'm about to. So after that chain 2, we're going to chain 3. We're now going to skip 3 stitches, and we're going to double crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to chain 3, skip the next 3 stitches, and double crochet into the next 3. We're now going to chain 3. And now we've only got 4 stitches left. So this will be counted as a double crochet, but you just chain 2 and slip stitch into that 4th stitch. Now we're gonna tie it off. I chain 2 and cut my yarn. And that is one side of our lace done. Now we're going to move on to the other side. I'm going to take my red again and create a slip knot and attach my hook. I'm then going to pick up the other side of my top where the other eyelet set needs to be, and I'm going to find that first stitch. And I'm going to slip stitch into it to attach the yarn. We're now going to chain 1 and single crochet back into that same first stitch. That counts as our first single crochet right there, the one we just did. And continue with 16 single crochets, and then a second row of 16 single crochets, and then I'll meet you at the eyelet part. I've now finished my second row of 16 single crochets. We're now going to chain 2 to create the eyelets. You can either do the double crochet method all the way across, or you can do what I'm about to. Chain 3. Skip 3 stitches, double crochet into the next 3. Chain 3. Skip 3 stitches, double crochet into the next 3. We're going to chain 3. We're going to be skipping those 3 stitches, chain 2 more, and slip stitch into that last single crochet, and then fasten off your project. And then you've finished your eyelets. Next, we're going to be doing the white on the bottom, but first go ahead and tie off and weave in any extra strings that you have. And I'll meet you once I'm done with that. I've now finished tying off and weaving in all the ends that I have. This is the part that I want to be the front of my top, and I'm going to go ahead and take it and just flip it upside down. And this is where I'm going to start with the white. I'm going to go ahead, take my white, create a slip knot, and then attach it to my hook. I do my best with each double crochet to single crochet 2 times when it comes to crocheting along edges like this. Just do your best. The number doesn't have to be exact, but we're going to be single crocheting all the way along the bottom for 2 rows. Now I'm going to start over here with the eyelet part. I'm going to slip through, chain 1. That chain 1 doesn't count as anything. I'm going to go back through that same stitch and single crochet. I'm going to go ahead and mark that because that's going to be my first single crochet. I've now reached the end of my first row of single crochet along the bottom. I'm now going to chain 1, flip my project, and single crochet all the way back for the second row. I'm now reaching the end of my second row of single crochet. Now we're going to be starting the scalloped bottom that will give us this little cloud effect right here. We're going to pick it up, and we're not going to chain. We're going to go ahead and flip our project. What we're going to do is skip the first 2 stitches, and we're going to double crochet 5 times into that 3rd stitch. So skip the first 2, double crochet 5 times into the 3rd. We're now going to skip 2 stitches and slip stitch into that 3rd. We're now going to continue that all the way to the end. Skip 2 stitches, double crochet 5 times into that next stitch. Skip 2 stitches, slip stitch into that next. And I'll meet you once I get closer to the end. I've now reached the end. Mine kind of ended with only 2 stitches left. So my ends may not look perfect, but at least the front of the top will look good. I'm just going to slip stitch through the last 2 stitches, chain 2, and cut off the yarn. Now you can weave in the ends from your white and go ahead and lace up the top. I'm now looking at the front of my top. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over and fold the sides inwards. I'm gonna take my left strap, go through the top of the right, take the right one, go through the top of the left, and then through the middle of the right one, pick up the right one again, through the middle of the left, and then the last one on the right, and then pick up the left again, and back through there. And now it's all laced up. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.